Yo, what's good, my peoples? This your boy Big Chris, the Compton Animator, and I'm here to give you a review of Smackdown, September 27th, 2013. WWE comes at us this week, and coming off of Monday's Raw, I think they did a pretty good job with today's show. We start off with Triple H coming to the ring by himself and talking to the crowd, basically, settling things from the stuff that happened on Monday with Randy Orton attacking what do you call him, Rob Van Dam, and then you have what was it, The Miz being punched by Big Show, and then the stuff that happened with Daniel Bryan them winning. I really like Triple H here. Triple H really did a nice job of, kind of playing the fence with what he's saying, playing the corporate guy. Him coming out and talking about how, like, I give you guys everything you want. I'm giving the guys in the locker room everything they want, and I'm also giving the guys right here everything they want, and the crowd and stuff everything they want. And you still talk smack, you still say things. I don't know what to do anymore. He's basically putting it on a WWE audience as saying that it's our fault why everything is happening. So I really like that. The Miz comes out and he basically talks to Triple H and saying, like, you haven't done nothing for me. You've really been corrupt and stuff like that. And I like how Triple H basically told him, like, everything that's happened to you has been your failure and it's been on you as a failure. So yeah, that was pretty cool, and Triple H really, like, played the heel and put him down, and said the truth but twisted it as well. And I really like this segment. I think that's one thing that's really good right now with the storyline is how Triple H is basically really defining his character right now, and kind of playing the fence. But I think he's getting better each time he comes out in doing this. The first match, he also set up a match for later on tonight with Randy Orton taking on The Miz, and this is supposed to be The Miz's extra chance of, saying, I'm giving you another chance, show me what you got. If you can beat Randy Orton, we'll see what goes on from there. So the next match was R-Truth versus Del Rio. We saw this match, I think we saw this match, was it on? No, on last week's SmackDown, I think. An okay match. It was very short. The one thing I do like about this match that you had you had Alberto Del Rio ending it with his super kick, and I like that when they give him another special like that, so he can have something besides the cross arm breaker. After the match, you had what's his name, Rob Van Dam come out and attack Alberto Del Rio while Alberto Del Rio's putting on a cross arm breaker onto R-Truth after after the match is happening. So he basically trying to hurt R-Truth more. So I like that he had him come out and kind of selling the battle between them two more. I wouldn't say that what's happening with Rob Van Dam and Alberto Del Rio is a good storyline, but as far as it's getting better the more they add on to it. I wish they could put more story and more promos and stuff like that in there, but it's getting better. You also had Triple H come out and say, we're going to add another stipulation to the match. It's going to be a Battlegrounds hardcore match. So for the pay-per-view, so it adds something more to the match than it just being a regular match. These two guys are kind of boring in a way, so I don't know where they're going to go from there. Next, we had it was the primetime players doing a backstage segments where they was teaching these white dudes how to do the little millions of dollars dance, and having the white dudes couldn't do it at all, so that was pretty funny, and giving the primetime players a little more screen time. And then we had a match with the Real Americans versus the primetime players. Another thing I liked about this show was the Real Americans, Zeb Coulter, came out and basically said, all you crowd members are not real Americans. I'm tired of you mocking us by saying our slogan. So, only the real Americans can slay our slogan. And now he goes, we the people, and only those guys can say the slogan. So I really like that segment. A pretty okay match. Seeing the Real Americans get the victory here. It's a cool idea. The tag team division is starting to look better. They're building up the guys to make them look stronger. You know, Cesaro's looking real strong. What's his name? Swagger is looking real strong. The Frontside players are looking strong. Usos are looking strong. You know, so the teams are looking strong. The Shield is strong. You know, it's just that they got to inject some story in here. So Real America's come out with the win. I think the highlight of this match was Antonio Cesaro doing his little spin with Titus O'Neil. So, you know, having to pick up Titus O'Neil and spin him like 20 times. That was pretty cool. After that was the Wyatt family came down to the ring, and one of my favorite entrances right now, and had a match with Zack Ryder, surprisingly. So Zack Ryder didn't really get no pop this time. He usually does when he comes down. So it was a kind of a dead crowd tonight too. So Zack Ryder lost, as you all would suspect, but he did put on a nice little match. Coming to see Bray Wyatt really attack him and really, you know, put on some more skills. I like that they're building them up a little bit more, having them fight guys and stuff to show their in-ring work and not just, you know, the same old, same old. I think they do need a little bit more story, but to me, if they, you know, give some guys that they can face them and they can just beat down, you know, it's cool for now. I don't have a problem with it. The next thing we saw was the United States Championship match with Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler. Pretty good start to the match. Dolph Ziggler brought Kofi Kingston and Rob Van Dam. I understand Kofi Kingston coming to the ring, but not really Rob Van Dam. I guess they wanted him to have a match tonight. But yeah, they brought both of them down so he wouldn't be alone in this. And the match ended up with a DQ because the guys started fighting. Everybody started fighting, and I guess they're going to save the match now for the pay-per-view. And it ended up turning into a 6-man tag match. This actually really good match right here. You know, it started off a little bit slow, but once it got into groove, I think it really did what it was supposed to do. Everybody got nice little spots. The Shield came out with the win, and you know they did their, you know, numbers business. You know, where they came out and it was attacking hard, running hard, and stuff like that. So it's keeping the Shield strong, and not only that, but it's still making, you know, the singles competitors that they put in this match look good because they're taking on the Shield and they're, you know, going off good against the Shield and doing their thing. Next, we had a segment with the Big Show and what's his name, Triple H. In the Big Show, it was Renee Young. She was basically talking to Big Show, and Big Show was basically saying, you know, it's been hard for me the last few weeks, and you know, I'm just trying to get over this, and I'm trying to get through it, but it's been very hard. And Triple H comes out and basically says, "Oh, you're crying," and stuff, and he's actually, you know, playing a game on the Big Show. So hopefully this angers Big Show up, and we see him do something with this. Next, Divas match. It was the Funkadactyls, what's her name, Cameron versus AJ Lee, and the one thing I liked about this match, or just this in general, was that they actually using them right this time. We had a good length match here. It wasn't a good match per se. It was, you know, very mediocre because the two girls in the ring, you know, AJ Lee's a good seller, but if, you know, if she doesn't have anybody to wrestle with, you know, matches are bland. But she did a okay job with Cameron here. Like having Tamina on her side, you know, she basically did a promo while she was walking to the ring saying, you know, she really needed somebody on her side to help her out, and the gear Tamina had on today, you know, had a little leather jacket, and she was in all black, hair in the ponytail. She was looking nice tonight. Yeah, Tamina with AJ is a good look. So yeah, I really like that, and I like how AJ loves getting these dark-skinned dudes or dark-skinned people, basically, to help her out. She loves us dark-skinned people, so I loved AJ for that one. So yeah, that was a pretty cool little segment. I like they gave a little bit more time. So hopefully, you know, what happened Monday night was just a fluke, and they actually gave these girls a little bit more than what they've been giving them. You know, I like that they gave them a little bit something more here on SmackDown. Next we had Paul Heyman come out, and he did a little promo, you know, basically saying, you know, he's better than CM Punk. Ryback's better than CM Punk, and that he's been beating up CM Punk all this time. So, cool little promo here. Nothing new from Paul Heyman. Good little promo here. So after that, we had 3MB. What's his name? Heath Slater versus Santino Marella. Mediocre match, but the highlight of this match was they started using the flute to control Santino's Cobra, and it's stupid, but it was unique. This is something I wanted the WWE to start looking at and playing with. I understand they need these gimmick segments because that is wrestling. It's having fun, it's throwing out gimmicks. That's what wrestling was from the start. That's the midgets and all the other stuff. That's what wrestling is. So have fun with these segments, and I like that's exactly what they did. They had the flutes controlling Santino's snake and stuff, and you had Jinder Mahal on one flute, playing his little Indian character, and then you had the other Indian, the Great Khali, with the other flute. So that was a cool little segment. Santino Marella won. I hope, instead of these dance segments, give us something like this, more creative, more fun. It might not go over with the crowd per se, but if you're a real wrestling fan, you'll find the humor and you'll find the actual acting and goodness of these segments. Everything doesn't need to be pure wrestling. Have fun with it. And I like this segment a lot. After that, we had a whole little segment of Cody Rhodes and the Rhodes Dynasty, talking about them versus Triple H, and how on Raw they're going to have a in-ring segment with them, all the Rhodes and Triple H in his camp, and they're going to talk about what's going on. So a lot of the promo stuff that they were showing tonight, really got me hyped for Monday Night Raw, and I like to see where they go with this. It's very interesting how they're building up Cody Rhodes. To me, if this is Cody Rhodes' chance, if he can't, be built and get into the main event scene off of all this, then, I don't know what he's going to do. But this is Cody Rhodes' time, and he's got to use it. He has his family behind him. He has Triple H going against him, and he has Randy Orton. He has, a gang of guys that they can pin him against. So this is his time. He got to do something with it. The last match we had was The Miz versus Randy Orton. This match actually surprised me a lot. I'm not a fan of The Miz at all. I'm really not a fan of him. But we saw some aggression out of Miz. He took all the segments, the beatdowns from Randy and Big Show, and he used it as aggression. Used it as a good character for this match. And I like that, he was aggressive through the whole match. And the match ended up ending in disqualification because he hurt his neck doing the his neck shoulder region, doing his little clothesline to the rope, and he missed it and hit the rope instead, and he sold the injury. And you had Randy Orton still attacking Miz after while the doctors were trying to check on him, so they disqualified Randy Orton for that. That was pretty cool because you get to see a little bit more of aggression out of Miz and still get the aggression and the heel factor out of Randy Orton. Triple H came out and he did his thing. He said, oh, Randy Orton, you're trying to get disqualified for this, so we're not going to end it like that. What I want you to do is we're going to restart this match, and it's going to be a hardcore, no disqualifications match. So no count out match. So he comes out and he just beats the shit out of the Miz. The Miz tries to come back with a chair, but, Randy Orton gets the upper hand. And, Randy Orton ends up fucking the Miz up, hitting him with the DDTs on the outside. And another DDT on the inside and the RKO. So basically demolishing the Miz. Still getting, his hard hidden heel factor up. I really like this end segment. It not only set up Randy Orton as the top heel of the company, but it also, set somewhere else to go with the Miz. Either he can use his fire to be a more, angry face, or they can change him to a heel with this. So pretty good show this week. I give it a good B, probably a B plus even. They did the thing, good diva segment, not a good diva segment, but an okay diva segment. It put more on and gave him more time. Paul Heyman's promo was pretty cool. The Santino match was really fun and creative. The Randy Orton stuff, the Randy Orton and Miz match was really good, and the Triple H stuff at the beginning was really good. Also, you had the Shield stuff that was really good. So, not really anything. Only one match that I didn't feel like I was really okay with, and that was the Del Rio versus Truth match. But other than that, it was a pretty good night of wrestling. So, also say this: I watched TNA this week. Some okay matches, a lot of problems. I don't know if I'm gonna continue watching TNA. I don't really want to do another video because I don't really want to talk about TNA right now. What else? The stuff with Dixie Carter in TNA is not. It's just weird. They're fast talking. You got Hulk Hogan coming out. He's not knowing what the hell he's talking about. So yeah, TNA is really an awkward place for me. Some people saying, they'd rather watch TNA than SmackDown, but SmackDown is still coming with creative and stuff like that, and Triple H is on every show, so I still got some energy left in that. With TNA, it just feels like they're trying. The wrestlers are trying, but Hulk Hogan, Dixie, and them really just don't know where the fuck to go with this shit. So yeah, that'll probably be the only time I talk about TNA. But yeah, good SmackDown tonight. You guys can find me on the internet, Big Chris 145, or you can find me at Compton Animator anywhere. So yeah, you people have a good night, and see you Monday night. Peace.